Hey guys, how's it going? My name is Gabby, welcome back to my channel, and today I'm going to be doing something a little bit different. I'm going to be doing a movie tag! This tag is literally just called a movie tag. I recently saw this video on Stories for Coffee's channel, and then I got lost down the YouTube rabbit hole and just watched like a million more of these videos, and I just got so excited about it because like I really love talking about movies and films just about as much as I love talking about books, and I've been wanting to have more of an opportunity to be able to do that on this channel, like to talk about movies more as well as books. Let's get right into it. So the very first question says, what is your favorite movie of all time? Like, we're just going right in to the hardest question because I can't possibly pick one. Like, what the hell? Like, it's hard enough for me to pick a top 10, honestly. But if we're gonna pick a top 3, okay, I can only pick a top 3. The top 3 would probably be The Dark Knight, La La Land, and Inception. And La La Land is mainly on here for its rewatchability for me because I just want to watch La La Land like every single day. And I think I love that movie so much because I'm from California and I just really appreciate it. It's beautiful and I love Ryan Gosling and Emma Stone so much. And The Dark Knight and Inception, like, do I even have to explain why they're the best? Like, they're just the best. Question number 2 says, your favorite scene from that movie. My favorite scene from La La Land is the scene when they're like dancing over the sunset in Los Angeles. It's the iconic scene on the poster. And then my favorite scenes from Inception and Dark Knight, like, I don't even know if I have a favorite scene in particular. Like, those entire films are freaking masterpieces. Number 3 is my favorite actors and actresses. My favorite actors are Jake Gyllenhaal, Ryan Gosling, Leonardo DiCaprio, Brad Pitt, and Bradley Cooper. My favorite actresses are Emma Stone, Margot Robbie, Rachel McAdams, Natalie Portman, Amy Adams, Reese Witherspoon, and Nicole Kidman. I have a lot of favorite actresses, apparently. Number 4 says most annoying actors. I'm just gonna give these with like no explanation because like I honestly don't know why I don't really like these actors. I mean, I guess I just find their movies to be cheesy and I just don't really care for their acting ever. So those 4 actors that I have are Vin Diesel, Jason Statham, Josh Brolin, and Will Ferrell. Sorry. Alright, number 5 is Best Director, and I'm gonna say Christopher Nolan because 2 of his movies are in like my all-time favorites, like The Dark Knight and Inception are directed by Christopher Nolan, so like, duh. But another one of my favorite directors ever is Denis Villeneuve, and he's kind of more like on the come up currently. Everything that I've seen from him, I have just absolutely loved so far, and I think he has the most potential to become like one of the next great directors. Like, he already is, kind of, you know? Number 6 is your favorite guilty pleasure film. I don't feel like I have guilty pleasures because like I'm not guilty about anything that I love, but for the sake of this answer, like a rom-com movie that I actually enjoy is definitely Maybe. I also really like How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days. Like, I grew up on that shit. Love that movie. Number 7 is your favorite tearjerker, and I watch a lot of movies that make me cry. Like, movies make me a lot more emotional than books do, I think, because movies got that music going, they got that if the characters are crying and like screaming or something, then I'm crying and screaming, you know? But some of my favorite sad tearjerker movies are Brokeback Mountain. This movie breaks my heart. Also Coco, because, you know, anything Disney will make me cry, but this movie I especially connected with. And Blue Valentine, because this is one of the like saddest movies I've ever seen about love, but it feels very real. Number 8 is a character from a movie that scared you the most. I would probably have to say Jack Torrance from The Shining, actually, because I love The Shining so much. Like, it's one of my favorite movies ever. And I feel like Jack Torrance in this role is just really, really terrifying and really creepy. And the idea of like your dad being an alcoholic and then being kind of dangerous towards you is like really terrifying to me. Like, that's like a real life scary situation, you know? So I just feel like Jack Torrance's character is terrifying. The next one is, what is a movie that you love that everyone else hates? I don't know if people like hate these movies, but I see these movies get a lot of hate lately. And the first one is Godzilla, like the one that just came out in 2014. And I personally had a lot of fun with that movie. I thought it was really great. And it was just such a fun movie. Like, it's a monster movie. It's meant to be kind of like cheesy. I just had a great time. I also really love Ready Player One. I know like everyone else in the world like hates on the movie adaptation because they said the book is so much better, but I actually think the movie holds up and I think it's just as much fun as the book, and I love the shining scene in this movie. Like, it made it all worth it for me. I also love Mean Girls, and I know like Mean Girls is a very loved movie, but recently in these movie tags that I've been watching, everyone's been saying they hate Mean Girls, and I'm like, what? I didn't even know there were people out there that didn't like Mean Girls. Like, Mean Girls is like one of the most quotable movies of all time. Like, I quote it on a daily basis, and I love it. All right, the next question is, what's a movie you hate that everyone else loves? I would probably say like Aquaman or Justice League maybe. Like, I am just not a huge fan of these recent DC movies that are coming out. The only DC movie that I've enjoyed recently is Wonder Woman. And so, I don't know, like, I mean, I'm hoping they get better, but like, I'm just not interested in any of the movies that DC has been putting out lately. Next question is your favorite movie duo. And I think this means like the two leads in a movie that you like to watch the most, right? So I think I would say Ryan Gosling and Emma Stone is my favorite movie duo to watch. Like, anytime they're on screen together, they just have such great chemistry and they're just so much fun to watch. But I also really love Leonardo DiCaprio and Brad Pitt because of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Like, they are so great to watch together, like, oh my god. And it's two of my favorite actors, like, ever. So it's just so cool to see them on screen together. The next question is your favorite animated movie. If we're talking about from my childhood, then I would definitely say Toy Story. Like, I was absolutely freaking obsessed with Toy Story when I was a kid. The first one came out like the year I was born, I think, or the year before I was born. But if we're talking about now, like present day, my favorite animated movie, it would probably be Into the Spider-Verse. Like, the new Spider-Man animated movie is legit one of the best things my eyeballs have ever seen. It's so good and it's so funny. I love that movie. All right, the next question says your actor and actress crushes. My biggest actor crushes are Jake Gyllenhaal and Ryan Gosling and Heath Ledger, rip. My biggest actress crushes are definitely like Margot Robbie, Rachel McAdams, Amber Heard, and Saoirse Ronan. I love her so much. All right, the next question is your favorite movie villain, and this is hands down the Joker in The Dark Knight. Heath Ledger's version of the Joker is my favorite and the best we will ever see, in my opinion. He's just the best villain ever because he's just so entertaining to watch. The best. Like, he's so good. His like mannerisms and just like his lines, like his one-liners are some of the best. Like, I have every line memorized that he says in that movie. His portrayal of the Joker is just the best thing I've ever fucking seen in my life. The next question says, what movie surprised you the most? A movie that I saw within the last year that surprised me the most was definitely Sorry to Bother You. This movie is fucking insane, and I went into this movie not knowing anything what it was about. I didn't even know that it was partially sci-fi. I had no idea going in, so I was pretty freaking terrified at the end of this movie. This movie just has like a lot of really great like social commentary, and just like, I literally was so blown away. I had no expectations going in, and I feel like this movie kind of scarred me for life, to be honest. The ending was really scary, but it was also so important. I feel like it was a really great movie. Like, it was so good. The next question says movie recommendation and for whom. So I think I would recommend The Wolf of Wall Street, but I would only recommend this to people who are film lovers, like, or who are fans of really long movies, or who are fans of like really raunchy comedy movies. This movie is almost 3 hours long, and I think it's on record for the movie that says the F word the most times ever in a movie, because it's 3 hours long and because they say it a lot. And this movie has a lot of drugs and sex and just very like explicit things in it, a lot of partying and stuff. But oh my god, dude, it's one of the best movies I've ever seen, and Leonardo DiCaprio is so funny and so good in this movie, and him and Margot Robbie have like amazing chemistry, and it's one of my favorite comedies like ever. Like, I could watch this movie all day. But it's definitely not for everyone. Like, I realize that. But for me personally, I love it so much, and I feel like Leo should have won an Oscar for this role because he's so good in it. The next question says, what is one remake you wish had never been made? And here's the part where you all unsubscribe from me, because I think the Disney remakes are like, okay, very unnecessary in my opinion. Like the new Lion King and like the Beauty and the Beast remake and like the Cinderella remake and like all of them, I'm just like, I don't know. I personally don't get it. I like all the originals a lot better than the remakes. I mean, I guess I see the point of them because it's like, yeah, like why not make more money off of something that's already well known and huge. But like, I would just rather see original stuff from Disney. Like, I don't want to see all of these remakes after remakes after remakes of the old stuff. All right, the next question says, you're about to die but could only watch one more movie. What would it be? Oof. For that, I'm probably gonna have to say Blade Runner 2049, because that's also like one of my favorite movies of all time. And like, can you imagine like dying to that soundtrack at the end of the movie? Like, oh my god. That movie has one of the best scores that I've ever heard. Like, it honestly gives me chills. And I saw this movie in IMAX twice because it was just so amazing. I had to experience it again. All right, the next question is your favorite movie genre, and then what's a favorite movie from that genre. This question's so hard because I don't really know what my favorite movie genre is. Like, movies are different for me than books. Like, I like different movie genres than I do for books, you know what I mean? I have 3 different favorite genre-y things, which I don't even know if they're like genre-y things. But the first one is like dark thriller movies that have some really dark humor in them. So like some examples of this would be Nightcrawler or American Psycho. Like, those movies to me, they're so dark and they're dramatic and like thrilling, but they're also so funny. Oh my god, like there's so much dark humor with these main characters who are very charismatic. Lou Bloom and Patrick Bateman are 2 of my favorite fictional characters of all time. I feel like The Dark Knight is also kind of like this. Like, it's a very dark movie, but there's a lot of humor in there because of the Joker. Another one is psychological movies that have very ambiguous endings, which this would be like Inception, Shutter Island, Donnie Darko, Enemy, It Follows. This is probably my favorite genre kind of movie. Like, anything that has very thought-provoking shit and then makes you think at the end and like theorize and be like, what did I just watch? That's my favorite shit. The last kind of genre thing that I had, I guess, is like sci-fi movies, but specifically movies that explore space or movies that are kind of about aliens. And for that example, I have Arrival and Interstellar. Like, oh my god, those movies are freaking amazing. And like, Arrival's more about like us figuring out how to communicate with aliens, and then Interstellar is more about like exploring space. I love those movies so much. Right, and the last question says, what's the first movie that you remember watching in theaters? I honestly, the first movie I ever remember watching in theaters, I don't know if it was the first one I actually saw, but the first one that I remember watching is this movie called Stuart Little, which is this really weird movie probably from the 90s or early 2000s. Tiny rat thing gets adopted into like a family and they treat him like a son. And I just remember seeing that movie in theaters, and I remember really loving it when I was a kid. But I also remember going to the bathroom during like the last 10 minutes of the movie and then coming back and the movie was over. And I was really upset that I missed the last 10 minutes because I didn't know it was going to be the last 10 minutes. That is all I have for these questions, so let me know what your thoughts are on any of these movies or actors or things. If you agree with me, like, are these also some of your favorite movies of all time? I love talking about movies so much, and I would like to make more movie related content on this channel. I am planning on doing somewhat soon an updated favorite movies of all time video, because like a long time ago, I want to say like 2 or maybe 3 years ago, I made a video called like my all-time favorite movies or something like that, and I just don't really like the way that video turned out, so I think I'm gonna redo that sometime soon in the near future. And so if you'd like to see that, then please let me know. I'm also currently doing this like movie challenge for myself kind of video, and I don't want to like spoil what it's about yet because I'm just really excited about it, and I'm currently filming that, so you can expect to see that video sometime soon, I think within the next month. Just depends on how long it takes for me to do all of the things. And thank you guys so much for watching as always, and I will see you guys soon with a new video. Bye.